Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Star Rail, and in today's video, man, was this a banger of a live stream, I thought. I'm going to give you my reactions. Unfortunately, I did have stuff I had to do, so I wasn't able to do a live reaction, but I've recorded the main parts of the live stream. We're going to jump around. It means this video will be shorter. Oh, and by the way, to make things easy for you, I'll pop this in the description, but these are all of the promo codes, the 3 promo codes that were run in this program, and you are, let's be honest, definitely going to want them. You'll see why when we get to the banner section, because dear lord. But first of all, let's check out Feixiao's animations from her teaser, because it is just, she's just bonkers cool, man. Like, they knocked it out of the park here. I love it. I mean, that's her basic attack, which is super cool. That's her skill, which honestly looks like an ultimate. The follow-up attack is glorious. And then her actual ultimate, she like flies into the sky. Oh, man. And deletes. Unbelievably cool. One of my favorite things about this, actually, let me pause. One of my favorite things about the animation, let me just get it, the follow attack. Hang on, let me get this up. Okay, so we're coming in here, and like this follow-up attack, what I love about it, it gives such a sense of speed, is it starts from like this screen, and then boom, she zaps the front, and then like after the hit, it's like, then you see the enemy. I don't know. There's something just about that animation that's like, yes, that is insane. So needless to say, in terms of animations, she is looking nuts. And then if we skip on, they start breaking it down. I thought, like, in terms of her gameplay, again, she looks just, where do they start some gameplay here? Okay, here we go. In terms of her gameplay, she looks super cool. So one of the really interesting things, no energy. She instead is building up these stacks. So it seems like you need 6 stacks to trigger her ultimate, but you can have up to 12. So it's very much like Yunli or like Argenti, but just not energy-based. But you can build up extra stacks and decide when to fire it off. And with her ultimate, Terra Split, which is super cool, you can either attack with her axe, which is going to do more damage if enemies are not weakness broken, or you can attack with her Gunblade, which will do more damage if they are weakness broken. Hopefully that's all just going to work nicely on auto. But yeah, like, how freaking cool is that you can sort of choose, pick and choose. I think this is going to make her very strong for Apocalyptic Shadow in particular, because number one, she's doing all of these attacks, all of these follow-ups. She's going to be really, really, really good at breaking people that are weak to wind. And then she does bonus damage when they are wind broken. I think in Apocalyptic Shadow, I think often it just activates your ultimates. So it will probably, because I know with Yunli, because I used her in Apocalyptic, in fact, let me leave this playing, because her technique is bonkers as well. With Yunli in Apocalyptic Shadow, it refills both of the charges of her ultimate. I wonder if that will happen with Feixiao. So she's looking bonkers for Apocalyptic Shadow. Will be very good for MOC. Probably very niche for Pure Fiction. But there you go. Her technique, by the way, looks insane as well. You're like run around with a whirlwind and it sucks all enemies with you and then you attack them. So just for world content, just group up all the enemies together and then just blow through. Makes her very powerful for that, which is sick as like a hunt single target focused character. So yeah, Feixiao is looking nuts. Tons of follow-ups. It seems whenever she does her skill, she gets a guaranteed follow-up. And then she can do like 1 follow-up per turn. So she's basically like Dr. Ratio on steroids. With then, you know, a 2-charge ultimate system. Yeah, she seems really, really, really strong. I'm very excited to see playtesting of her. But going into this, like, she was sort of hyped up as, ooh, she's like single target Acheron for follow-up teams. It seems like they've honestly delivered on that. So yeah, Feixiao is looking bonkers. Oh yeah, then a little bit further in the program. So one thing I was a bit disappointed about with Feixiao was no summon. Right, I was kind of hoping that would be a feature of all of the generals, that we would ultimately get multiple generals that we could play as, you know, in our party, and that, like Jing Yuan, they would all have a unique summon, and then maybe we could get supports, like Harmony characters that would boost summons, and interesting stuff like that. So I was a little bit sad that Feixiao doesn't have a summon, but then she is going to be a boss fight, and indeed one of the Echo of War boss fights, it seems like. Though they said it was like a shadow of Feixiao, which is very intriguing. But this seems super cool. So it's a three-phase fight. You fight her on her own in phase 1. And then she has like her summon with her in phase 2. And it's got different parts of its body. And you have to break them to reduce the damage it's going to do. I can just see here at a glance. Sorry, the resolution's a bit bad. Man, that follow-up animation. But they are like physical weak, fire weak. There's quantum weakness in here, wind weakness as well, quantum weakness here. So like, ooh, this is potentially a 4-target fight. You know, like Jade could be decent. Breaking the quantum enemies for that later part of this fight, that could be interesting. Feixiao herself is probably pretty good because there's lots of wind weakness. A bit of fire definitely a good chunk of fire weakness as well. So lots of weakness types coming into this. Could be kind of cool. But yeah, it's kind of neat to see that, all right, she doesn't have a summon as a character in your party, but her summon does actually feature. So yeah, that will be a consistent thing with the generals, is that, you know, their summon fighting alongside them is like a big part of their thing. Now, she doesn't have a summon on the turn meter bar like Jing Yuan at all, but, you know, it is going to be a big feature of their kits. So I enjoyed that. Next up, let's check out Lingsha. And again, she looks freaking awesome. She looks like Topaz and Numby, but a healer, which is just insanely cool. So I freaking love her animations. You know, when we first saw the picture of her, like, she definitely has like the cool color gradient on like her arms and her legs. But like seeing her in battle and she's floating, it's very graceful. The animations, again, are just very graceful, very serene. I think they've done like a really good job of making her cool. Because, I mean, she... honestly, it's like Sparkle with long legs. It's kind of the vibe, you know? Like, she was not the most insane character design ever, but I think they've done a really good job with, let's skip on to gameplay. Actually, really good job, like, seeing her in combat. And I didn't like her that much in the story either. She's a bit weird in the story. Like, her and Zhao Cho together are both, like, super weird vibes in the story. I don't know if there's, like, translation stuff in English or if it's just me. They both had strange vibes as characters. Weird frenemy sort of stuff. But yeah, with Lingsha, she seems really interesting. So you've got this, like, incense bunny. How cool is that? It's like a Numby. It's like Numby. So it seems like whenever your ally's health drops low, it will go. But you can see it has 3 turns right here. I don't know what the default turns are, but she basically summons in this bunny. Her skill will increase its number of attacks, or presumably summon it in if it doesn't exist. Her ultimate, I think, summons it in. Like right there, you can see her skill increase the bunny attacks from 3 to 5, and the bunny instantly got to go. So yeah, it's looking like this is like a Topaz and Numby type thing, but she has to use her skill or ultimate every now and then to basically up the number of attacks it has. Whereas like, you can see there, it's at 0, it ran out. Whereas Topaz and Numby, like Numby's always there, always going. Yeah, you can see the fight start, she's got 3 stacks, which is kind of nuts. So yeah, that is her. So honestly, I think Lingsha looks really interesting. A couple of other things, we jump back, they talked about here, is whenever the bunny attacks, not only does it heal your party, but you'll see when they get crowd controlled, you can see here that your teammates are crowd controlled. It also cleanses. So look at this, like Harmony Trailblazer is crowd controlled. When the bunny goes, it's actually cleansing off a debuff. So she could be insanely strong. It's also doing AoE attacks, right? Which is nuts. One thing they said that she does as well is it's Gallagher. She's basically Gallagher. Is her ultimate increases the break damage I think that enemies take. So it's Gallagher 2.0. Her technique does it at the start of the fight. She starts the fight off with enemies in the quota. I don't know what they call it. It's basically the besotted state, not healing, but you know, they're taking more break damage. So yeah, she's upping your team's break damage. She's doing all of these AoE attacks. She's like Gallagher, but loads of AoE cleansing. She's got the summon thing. I believe the summon does count as a follow-up attack as well. So she potentially has actually got pretty good synergies with like Robin and follow-up teams and whatnot. Because yeah, like you can see right here behind me. Oh, hang on. Of course, they skipped on ahead. Hang on. If we go in there, you could see the turn order bar, and Bunny's on it. Like Bunny is there, and it's got, you know, 3 attacks left. And I think she like action advances the bunny and stuff. I am very, very intrigued to see what happens with Lingsha. But she seems like Break, sort of mixed with, it's like Topaz and Numby plus Gallagher, AoE, all in one. And that's potentially very strong. I will tell you right now, I've seen, you know, just people commenting on Lingsha online, and people aren't that hyped up about her. I can tell you, like, if you are a newer player, like, she is going to be bonkers good, right? Imagine a new player coming in, and like you don't have you maybe have like E1 Gallagher or maybe E2 from the selectors, but that's it. You know, like she is going to be so strong. and probably will work in so many teams. Like, I don't know. I'm very excited to see playtests of her because she seems to me to be insanely good. Now, the question is, she's so like Gallagher. Is she better enough for it to be worthwhile? I don't know. But she seems like she could synergize with follow-up teams. She'll definitely go really well with break teams. She's bringing you lots of AoE healing and cleansing. I mean, she seems nuts. She seems crazy, crazy good. It's just like the problem that's ever present with sustains is, well, do I need another sustain if I'm already sustaining fine with my current sustains? I guess that's the question, but I think she's got huge potential. Like, genuinely, the thing that for me I'm looking for mostly with sustains is their offensive capabilities. I think Aventurine is like miles ahead of the pack with that because of his constant counterattacks and how that synergizes with Robin, how that can break enemies in Apocalyptic Shadow if they're imaginary weak. Aventurine does a lot. Lingsha looks to be sort of similar in terms of just constant attacks. Yeah, I'm very intrigued by how much toughness damage she's going to do, how much damage she does with Robin, how much break damage she does with like this sort of team, a super break team. Very intrigued by her. So she's looking, honestly, I think she looks really good. I think I am much more excited for Lingsha than most people are. That's my take on it. And that's not all in terms of characters, because Moze is the 4-star. And honestly, this guy is so badass, dude. Like, check out this follow-up animation. Oh my god, that's sick. Like, what the hell, man? Feixiao's animation was nuts, but dear lord, Moze's animation is just next level. Now, I was a little bit confused as to what there was. He is Lightning Hunt, by the way. It seemed that he's like doing follow-up attacks and boosting your team's follow-up damage. I wasn't quite sure exactly what's happening with him, so I need to look at it more. It seems to be, what I've seen people say is that he's sort of like a budget Topaz. He's like 4-star Topaz and Numby, which is insane. But like, look at this. He's just gone, right? Like, he just disappears. Like, what is going on there? And he's got like stacks of his thing. That follow-up attack animation is just nuts. So yeah, he seems honestly pretty cool. Like, it's genuinely 5-star character design, but in a 4-star unit. He seems nuts. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to rewatch it to figure out exactly how he works. But he seems good. Single target lightning damage is actually something that's pretty lacking in the game when you think about it. There's not that much in terms of good single target lightning damage or good accessible lightning damage characters in general. You know, you have our general, you've got Kafka, you've got Jing Yuan. The 4-stars aren't great though. Like Serval, she's okay. Emos, you know, she could be okay. And Arlan's kind of underwhelming. So Moze is definitely going to be, I think, a good addition, especially for Apocalyptic Shadow, is my guess. Follow-up attacks are really good for Apocalyptic Shadow because there's often buffs to improve them. And they also, follow-up attacks are pretty good because they're good at breaking. Not because they have crazy break efficiency, but because just the sheer quantity of attacks breaks pretty well. And if he's got a powerful ultimate, that works really well for Apocalyptic Shadow too. So yeah, he's looking pretty nice. Then we come to the crazy part. This was insane. So here's the banners and what is going on. So first of all, Feixiao, obviously, is phase 1. She is in with Moze. She's in with, I have blanked on her name. 4-star Harmony chick, Asta, and Luca. So that is actually pretty cool. I'm going to be honest. It's a pretty good set of banners. So you've got Feixiao, big single target. Now, if Moze is mini Topaz and Numby, it's actually amazing that they're on the banner together because the synergies between the two is going to be really, really high. She is all about big follow-up damage. If he's like mini Topaz and Numby, like Topaz and Numby probably going to be her ideal like sub DPS. He's going to be Moze looks to be a fantastic alternative. I'm also curious though how March the 7th Hunt form will synergize with Feixiao as well. That might be an even better alternative. I don't know. Though then again, if the enemy is lightning weak, then Moze could be really good. So I'm very intrigued. I think it's great that he's on her banner. That's very hyped. Asta, I've never used Asta because I've pulled all the limited harmonies. But I think Asta is actually pretty darn good, but you really do need Eidolons for her to be good. I think the Eidolons make her much more forgiving in terms of maintaining her stacks and not having to spend skill points like crazy. That's her sort of biggest problem, I believe. So her getting Eidolons for her is pretty great. Luca is definitely very niche, but again, he's quite like a break physical character with Dot as well, but like sort of re-triggering the bleed that you inflict when you break physical. So he definitely doesn't synergize with Feixiao, but he could be pretty nice against physical enemies. Definitely for something like Apocalyptic Shadow, he does have some potential. I'd definitely be intrigued to see some Luca. Again, he's definitely not a high priority. He's more of a luxury. Maybe he'll be really good for like one side of one phase of one MOC or one Apocalyptic Shadow. Like, it's that sort of level. But he's pretty fun. So yeah, he's not a bad one to get. I definitely feel like it's almost, this is sort of the order of priority. Moze is definitely the big one to pull here because of the synergy. Asta is kind of nice if you don't have other limited harmonies. She could be good, and it's great to get things for her. The light cones look solid as well. The Luca light cone's great. That's really strong. The sweaty pearls decrease defense chance on debuffs. Very strong for debuffing Nihility. Really good on like Pela, something like that. Swordplay, that's really good as well. It's like best in slot. I think one of the budget best in slot for March 7th Hunt. And also, I use it for me on my Topaz and Numby. That's a good one. Can't remember what this one does, the Herta one. I think it's like ups your follow-up attack damage, maybe? But I think it's Erudition. I don't know. That one is... I don't think you use that one. Is it Birth of Self or something? I don't think you use it too much. But then things go crazy because also, slight spoiler for stuff coming up, this was nuts. So, alongside Feixiao, they are running 3 reruns. 3 reruns at once. So this, to me, answers the big question of, number one, would they do second reruns of characters? So here we have Kafka getting her second rerun. First character in the game to get her second rerun. And then, spoiler, Topaz and Numby in phase 2 getting, which is nuts. That's bonkers. But yeah, 3 reruns at the same time, all sharing the same, with their light cones as well, all sharing the same, 4-star options. So if you're going to pull for multiple of these, you're going to get lots of copies. We have Robin, Black Swan, and Kafka. So this is nuts. And spoiler alert, because Topaz and Numby are coming as well. But like, it's almost a full follow-up team in one patch. You've got, Feixiao, Moze, Robin. Then you've got Lingsha or Topaz and Numby. Like, it's like a full follow-up team. It's crazy. And then you've got on it, like, this is your best dot team. Like, these 3 characters together, this is the dot team right now. My initial thoughts on this, I'm going to do a whole video breaking this down more in detail when I've had a little bit more time to think about it. My initial thought is Robin is number 1. And I doubt I'm going to change my opinion on that. I think that Robin is likely more valuable to you than Feixiao, Black Swan, and Kafka. I think Robin's on another level. I think Robin and Ron May, in my opinion, are the 2 best characters in the game. And they basically enable... Like, Robin basically powers up follow-up teams. Like, you put Robin in, done. Job done. Like, great. Your Herta has just destroyed Pure Fiction. No problem. Whatever. Your character of your choice, put in, like, Moze on March 7th, they probably just destroyed Apocalyptic Shadow, Like, I guess Moze would need them to be lightning weak, but like, you've got the potential there. I think Robin is nuts, and much like Ron May really, really benefited from Imaginary Trailblazer and Gallagher and all of that stuff. I think Robin really benefits from Moze and really benefits from, very much so, from March 7th Hunt version and Herta. I think she's insane. So I would be saying Robin is probably the target. If you don't have Robin, I genuinely think you probably should just get Robin. This is her first rerun. It's very fast. I feel like this is very fast. It's not been long since Robin. I think they're rerunning her here because she is going to be so strong with Feixiao. Like, if you look at Feixiao, she's got lots of follow-up attacks. Like, that's nuts. Every follow-up attack triggers the extra damage from Robin's ultimate. Like, that's bonkers. That is genuinely bonkers. And Robin provides massive buffs to all of that stuff. So, yeah, but I would say if you don't have Robin, I don't know if Feixiao is going to be full potential at all. So I genuinely think you go Robin. I think Robin is the best. I'm going to say she is the number 1 pull right now of this entire patch. No question. in my mind. I think she's crazy. You're getting the Moze to combo with her, which is really, really, really good, honestly. Black Swan and Kafka are interesting. My initial feeling on these, it's tough to say because Dot has been entirely forgotten basically since Black Swan's first run. Now it's her rerun. There's been like nothing for Dot. I mean, Robin is, like I said, best in slot for Dot, but Ron May's pretty good as well. Even Asta's pretty decent with Dot. It's just there's no dedicated Dot buffer. Whereas, you know, Robin is a dedicated follow-up attack buffer. Ron May is a dedicated break follow-up break buffer. But, you know, their buffs, their general buffs are just so strong as well that it ends up being very strong for any team. But they're not designed. Like, they don't have any Dot-specific enhancing things. I was actually a bit disappointed with Xiao Cho, that Xiao Cho doesn't have any buffs that really cater towards Dot teams. He's like boosting your ultimate damage. You want someone that's boosting your Dot damage. So we might see characters in future. In fact, I'm 100% sure we will see a Harmony in the future that is the same type of character as Robin and Ron May, but provides, actually, I'm not 100% sure, provides buffs to Dot. We could see that, but in Nihility form and maybe more debuff focused or something. Or like characters that can activate Dots out of turns more, that sort of thing. So it's kind of a forgotten archetype at the moment. There's just been no characters to enhance Dot, but maybe that's coming soon. It's hard to know. One thing that is true, though, these are the only Dot characters in the game, and Dot Pure Fiction is a thing, and Dot Pure Fiction is hard. So both Black Swan and Kafka are very good for Pure Fiction. They're also good for the other modes, but maybe not as good as the other teams that you can build with Robin or Ron May. So I don't know. It's a bit of a tougher sell for these two, I would say. Like, I would be more inclined to be picking up Robin or the new characters. That's a tough one. For me, I really want Kafka because she is one of my most wanted characters. But I don't know if I'd actually use her much. That's the reality. She'd get definitely used for Dot Pure Fiction. There's no question. She'd hard carry that, and that's valuable. Or if there's really good Dot Blessings for other modes. But, you know, would I be better in most of the situations where Kafka would be good? Maybe it'd be better just running a follow-up team with Robin or just running a super break team with Ron May. Tough. It's tough. So, yeah, for me, Robin, number 1 by miles. Then we've got, I went too far. Yeah, but it's insane. The amount of reruns is crazy. Then we've got the Lingsha. Phase 2, we've got Lingsha. Like I said, Lingsha is looking really good. Now, the tough thing is, like I said, if you're already pulling for Robin, I mean, if you're a brand new player, I would say if you are a brand new player, I honestly think going Robin Lingsha could be really good. I am very curious, like I said, to see Lingsha playtests because she might be almost as good as Aventurine with Robin. I'm curious. Maybe. Like, if she's doing lots of follow-up attacks, then great. That's sort of Aventurine's benefit, is that he does so many follow-up attacks that, yeah, he triggers Robin's damage all the time. He builds up Robin's energy all the time. They are such an insane combo. Lingsha might be decently good as well and give you the flexibility to go into break teams either. Is interesting. I do think she looks good. She's in with Misha, Natasha, yikes, and Gwenifin. Gwenifin's actually really solid. She's a great one to pick up. Again, really good for any of those Dot Pure Fictions. She's a good debuffer, like, as well. Just she's a good, solid 4-star character. Nothing crazy, but she's solid. She's usable. She can be good. Misha is very niche, but, you know, ice breaking. Ice is really, again, a forgotten element in this game. Like, I don't remember the last time I've sat down and been like, man, I really wish I got an ice damage character for this. It's just, you know, it feels like everything's imaginary and everything's lightning and fire. I guess because we had frickin' Acheron came out and they're like, lightning weakness everywhere. And then Firefly came out and they're like, fire weakness everywhere. And imaginary, I guess, Aventurine and Dr. Razor and all that. And they're like, I don't know. Poor old Ice isn't that common. Whenever Ice is common, though, he could be pretty solid. He could be a decent budget option if you need Ice breaking for Apocalyptic Shadow, Memory of Chaos. I don't know. He's definitely more of a luxury pull. He's not, you know, a top-tier meta character by any means. Natasha's pretty rubbish, honestly. I think the main purpose of Natasha is genuinely slap her in like Penacony with a physical damage dealer, Penacony planar set, and she'll buff them and heal, and she's got single target cleanse. But I think Natasha is in my opinion the worst healer in the game. I wouldn't be too excited about her. I mean, if you're pulling for Lingsha, you're not happy with Natasha. Like, you want to build Lingsha, and I'm sure if you're building Lingsha, you'll have a Gallagher or a Japard, even a Bailu. Like, you'll have better options for your second slot than Natasha, almost definitely. So that's kind of a waste. Gwenifin is solid enough. So they're not the best 4-stars, honestly. They're more luxury ones. The light cones, there's a new light cone. I don't think they told us what it does. This one's okay. These ones are, again, a bit weak, so I'm not too sold on Lingsha's light cone unless it's crazy good. I mean, I'd be much more inclined to be stacking up on the phase 1 stuff and just picking up Lingsha alone if you can. But it depends where you're at. Then we've got Topaz and Numby are back really soon. Now, I picked up Topaz and Numby. Topaz and Numby are fantastic. They're great. However, I don't think that, unfortunately, Topaz is a super high priority right here, right now. Why? Well, reason being, I think she's best, obviously, with Robin. So if you already have Robin, she's obviously your best in slot support. But if you've already got Robin, you might be genuinely better off if you've got Robin picking up Feixiao and getting Moze. If Moze is like budget Topaz and Numby, and bearing in mind that March 7th, the hunt exists now as well, I think that there's now 2 4-stars that are sort of competing with Topaz and Numby's spot, being Moze and March 7th. They're sort of competing with her spot in teams. And just the opportunity cost of picking up Topaz and Numby, how worth it is it? I'm not sure anymore. Like I said, I have her. She's one of my favorite characters. Honestly, one of the best things about her, honestly, is the Trotter, Numby. He finds treasure chests in the world. It's great. I mean, you could just use a guide online or something, but it's more fun to run around in game when he guides you to the treasure chest. It's actually amazing. Really, really cool. But yeah, is she worth pulling, considering that there's so many crazy reruns right now? And bearing in mind, next patch, we've got Rappa, but that's it. Apparently, there's no other new characters coming next patch. So I would be expecting a monstrous truck of reruns next patch as well. Now, we will know what those are because we'll have the live stream while the Topaz and Numby banner is still up. So you can wait for the next live stream to make that decision. But I am not convinced that, yeah, unfortunately, although I love her, she's one of my favorite characters, I'm not super convinced that she makes sense to pull for a low spend free to play player. Now, if you're a whale, if you're a Kraken, half of you are in denial about that. That's fine. But if you are, or if you suspect that just maybe, you're spending lots and lots, tens, possibly hundreds of dollars on the game. You think, I've only spent a few hundred. Am I really a whale? If you're in that scenario, you might be in a position where you could just pick up the Topaz and Numby anyway. And I think she's likely to be very good, like best in slot for Feixiao, best in slot for Robin. She's insanely good. So there's no question there. But it's just the budget options might be good enough that you don't need to pull her, is sort of my initial vibe. And the 4-stars not being that great, yeah, I'd be more inclined to be like, I'd be much more inclined to pick up number 1, Robin. I don't know. Then I'm not sure. I've got a bit of Lingsha bias. I think Lingsha could be great, but Feixiao is up there as well. Lingsha's really good. Then you've got the dot teams that you might want to pick up too. So yeah, not too convinced about that. Then we had some other stuff. Main stuff's just stories. So fun thing, what was the fun thing? It was right at the end, is that there's going to be this extra gift. So we're going to have the free 10 pulls anyway with the patch. There's also going to be this 10 fuel. That's awesome. 150 of these things for your traces. That's great. And 1,000 stellar jade. So yeah, I mean, that's what, like 5 more pulls or so? 6? I don't know. A few more pulls for you. That's decent to help with this crazy rerun patch. But yeah, I think this patch is looking like, honestly, a banger. I didn't cover the story stuff, but the story stuff looks really, really cool as well. It looks insane. But yeah, 3 reruns, basically 2 entire extra reruns that we were not expecting, right? Including the Robin coming back early. That is all bonkers, absolutely bonkers. And yeah, the story looks really great, looks super fun. It's all looking good. But man, this is a tough patch to decide who to pull for. And like I said, bear in mind, 2.6 after this, considering there's only 1 new character, is probably going to be stacked with crazy reruns as well. So, like, what the heck? And we're probably going back to Penacony then. So we could see my boy. I'm praying my boy Sunday comes back at some point too. That's what I want. Where is Sunday? I want Sunday. So yeah, let me know. What do you think about this? What do you think? For me, I am probably going to pull for Feixiao because I've got Robin, I've got Aventurine, I've got Topaz and Numby. That's looking like a crazy team for Feixiao. I don't have Blade. I know people don't like Blade much, but I don't have Blade. I've Black Swan as well. So I've got the reruns except for Kafka. So Kafka is definitely tempting because I do have Black Swan. That opens up Dot in a huge, huge way. So that's tempting for sure. If I didn't have Robin, I would absolutely get Robin. You are bonkers not to pull for Robin. I think she is as good as Ron May. In my opinion, she is as good as Ron May. Maybe Ron May is slightly better overall, because Super Break is kind of so busted, but Robin is nuts. So yeah, I would pull for Robin. I've got Robin though, so I'm probably going to pick up Feixiao because she's super freaking cool and get some Moze Eidolons along the way, hopefully. And then depending on if I win the 50-50 or not, I will either go for Kafka or Lingsha, or if I win every 50-50, I could try to get all of them. I could even spend some money if I wanted to try get them, which I might consider. Yeah, I only have Aventurine as a limited sustain, which is making Lingsha very tempting to me. We'll see. We'll see. Let me know what you think about it. We'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.